What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Neuralink, the brain chip. Let's explain it. Five shocking facts that will blow your mind. Decoding human thought with artificial intelligence. Let's get into this. What makes Neuralink brain chip explain fundamentally different from previous AI breakthroughs? And why is 2026 the tipping point?
Neuralink's brain chip is an invasive interface that implants ultra thin threads with over 1,000 electrodes directly into the brain, reading and stimulating neurons at high resolution to let people control devices or restore functions just by thinking. BrainChip's Akita, on the other hand, is a neuromorphic processor that mimics how biological neurons and synapses work in silicon. It processes data using spikes like the brain does, running at ultra low power on the edge without needing the cloud. They're fundamentally different from past AI breakthroughs because earlier AI was mostly about scaling up software models on power hungry GPUs in data centers. These two bring brain like efficiency into hardware, one by wiring computers into actual brains, the other by wiring brain logic into computers. Together, they point to a future where intelligence isn't just simulated, but embodied and bidirectional. 2026 looks like the tipping point because Neuralink plans to ramp up to high volume production and switch to nearly fully automated surgery, moving from a handful of trial patients to potentially hundreds or thousands. That shifts it from experiment to real world scale, while neuromorphic chips like Akita keep maturing for efficient AI everywhere else. It's when the tech starts leaving the lab. The real magic will be when the two sides start working together.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. Did you say automated, like installing the Neuralink chips automatically?
Yeah, exactly. The surgical robot automates the trickiest part, inserting those super thin, hair finer threads into the brain with micron level precision. Humans just can't do that consistently by hand. The robot uses multiple cameras and scanners to map blood vessels in real time, then sews the threads in without damaging anything. A surgeon still makes the initial skull opening and oversees everything, but the robot handles the delicate needlework. It's like a high tech sewing machine for your brain. In 2026, they plan to make this process almost fully automated and ramp up to high volume production so more people can get it faster and safer. Pretty wild, right?
That is insane. How risky is this surgery? What are the risks?
It's still early days, but so far, the risk looks pretty low. Neuralink reports zero serious device related adverse events across 21 patients in their trials as of early 2026. The main risks are the usual ones for any brain surgery: infection, bleeding, or swelling. Those are generally around 1 to 3% in similar procedures like deep brain stimulation. There was an early issue where some threads retracted in the very first patient, but they fixed it with better thread design and deeper placement. Later patients haven't had that problem, and performance has been stable. The robot actually helps lower the risk by being way more precise than a human hand could be. It's experimental, though, so long term effects over many years are still unknown.
All right, pretty interesting. I like the idea of Neuralink and basically people that can't walk can learn to walk again because it rewires things in your brain to make it happen. It's pretty cool. See, I want to talk about, we're talking about Neuralink, and I want to talk about maybe AI integration with Neuralink. Thinking a lot about just being able to search the web in real time just by thinking with my brain, not even having to look at a device or anything like that, just by thinking. And also, I like the possibility of like implanting dreams. If you wanted a certain dream, like you're a billionaire or something in your dream, or you wanted to be with somebody in your dream, you could just make it happen by having that programmed into Neuralink or something. What do you think?
That's a fascinating set of ideas, Carl. The real time web search thing is actually where Neuralink's currently headed. They've already shown early brain computer interfaces that let people control cursors and type, so direct neural access to information is plausible within this decade, honestly. But the dream implantation angle is trickier. We still don't fully understand how dreams form, and they're weirdly essential for memory consolidation and emotional processing. You could probably simulate dreamlike experiences, sure, but just programming in a fantasy where you're a billionaire might short circuit something your brain actually needs. It's a bit like asking if you'd rather have the feeling of exercise without actually moving. Sounds great until your muscles atrophy, yeah? That said, therapeutic applications could be brilliant, helping people work through trauma or anxiety by guiding dreams rather than letting them spiral. Less about wish fulfillment, more about healing. What draws you more? The practical web in your head stuff, or is it the experiential, almost recreational side of things?
I like I'm fascinated by both.
That makes sense. The practical stuff is genuinely transformative. Imagine never losing a thought because you can instantly look something up or save it directly to memory. But the experiential side taps into something deeper, doesn't it? The idea of being able to shape your own consciousness, even just your dreams, is pretty profound. It's that intersection where technology becomes almost philosophical. Have you thought about which aspect you'd actually want first if it became available? Or are you more in the exploratory headspace right now?
Um, like I think I would be interested in real-time web search, and then yeah, if I could implant dreams into my brain when I go to sleep, would that would be so crazy.
Yeah, that's a solid combo. Real time web search would be genuinely useful day to day. No more wondering about stuff, just instant access. And then having that dream customization as almost a separate layer of experience once you're asleep is brilliant. You'd get the practical benefits during the day and then the experiential freedom at night. It's like having two different upgrades to consciousness. Have you looked into how far Neuralink's actually progressed? Or is this more just thinking through the possibilities?
Oh, just thinking through. I don't really know how far it's progressed, but if you want to elaborate on that.
So they're actually ramping up quite a bit this year. They've already got people implanted, a few patients who can control cursors and type just by thinking. The big move happening now is they're moving toward high volume production and automating the surgery itself, which is massive because currently it requires really delicate manual installation. They're making the procedure less invasive too. But here's the thing, it's still very much in the early medical stage, focused on helping people with paralysis regain independence. The consumer stuff, the web search integration, dream implants, that's all further down the line. We're talking years before it gets there, if it does.
Okay. Let's see. Let's go on to the next one. What industries and professions are most at risk from Neuralink Brain Chip Explained? Which one will actually grow because of it?
Most at risk right now? Not many traditional jobs. Neuralink's mainly helping people with paralysis control computers, so it's not replacing workers, it's giving abilities back to those who lost them. Longer term, if brain chips become consumer tech for faster thinking or direct device control, competitive fields like programming, design, data analysis, and high focus professions could face pressure. People with implants might outperform others, creating a neuro divide where enhanced workers have an edge. The big winner? Healthcare, specifically neurosurgery, neurology, and neurotech, will need way more specialists for implantation, calibration, monitoring, and brain data analysis. New jobs like neural interface designers, cognitive optimization specialists, and BCI technicians will pop up too. The whole neurotech and brain computer interface industry is set to explode.
Heck yeah. All right. Does Neuralink Brain Chip compare to where AI experts predicted we would be at this point in time?
That's a bit tricky, because I'm not entirely sure what you mean by Neuralink marine ship. Was that
No, I said Neuralink Brain Chip.
Ah, sorry. So how does the Neuralink brain chip compare to where AI experts predicted we'd be at this point? That's actually a good question. Most AI experts and neuroscientists were fairly cautious in their predictions. They figured we'd see basic brain computer interfaces working, maybe cursor control and simple typing, which is exactly where we are now. So Neuralink's on track with those expectations, honestly. Where it's maybe ahead is on the surgery automation and production scaling. That's moving faster than some thought. But the really ambitious stuff people talk about, like real time web integration or advanced neural interfaces, most experts thought that was still a decade plus away, and that timeline hasn't really shifted. So, in that sense, it's progressing at a steady, realistic pace rather than leapfrogging predictions. Does that match what you were curious about?
Yeah, perfect. Let's see. What ethical and moral questions does Neuralink Brain Chip raise that governments and tech companies still haven't answered?
Ethical questions around Neuralink and brain computer interfaces that still lack solid answers. Privacy of thoughts. Once your brain activity is digitized, who owns that data? Can governments or companies access your inner monologue? Current laws don't cover mental privacy at all. Cognitive liberty. Should people have the right to modify or enhance their own brains? Where is the line between therapy and making someone better than others? Hacking the mind. If a device can read and write to your brain, what happens if it's hacked? Could someone force thoughts, emotions, or actions? No real cybersecurity standards exist yet for neural data. Identity and autonomy. If a chip influences decisions or memories, are you still fully you? Long term effects on personality and free will aren't understood. Inequality. Will this create a divide between those who can afford brain upgrades and those who can't? It risks amplifying existing social gaps. Consent and long term use. Trials involve vulnerable patients, but what about removing the device later? What if someone changes their mind years down the line? Governments are playing catch up, regulation is minimal, and tech companies are largely self regulating on these issues.
Holy moly, that's a lot to think about.
Yeah, it's heavy stuff. The big one that keeps me up at night is the thought privacy part. If your brain data can be read, there's no more hiding what you really think. Everything else flows from there. You got one that hits you hardest?
My brain getting hacked definitely hits me the hardest. It could control me if they hacked me. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's the scariest part. In theory, a hacker could inject signals into your brain and mess with your thoughts, emotions, or even force movements. It's called brain jacking. Scientists have already done it in labs with simpler implants, so it's not sci fi. The good news is Neuralink is building in heavy encryption and doesn't stream raw brain data. It only sends what the user wants to send. But yeah, if someone cracks it, the consequences could be terrifying. That's why cybersecurity experts are pushing hard for strong regulations before this stuff goes mainstream.
Yeah, sense. Okay. Shit, crazy, man. Okay. What is the single most important thing to understand about Neuralink brain chip before it changes your daily life?
So, the single most important thing, it's that Neuralink isn't magic. It's a tool that amplifies what you can already do, but faster and more directly. Before it changes your life, understand that any brain computer interface is only as good as the software and AI running behind it. The hardware's impressive, sure, but it's the integration with AI systems that'll actually make it useful for things like web search or information access. Get that relationship wrong, and you've got an expensive implant that doesn't do much.
All right. This has been an interesting conversation about Neuralink and AI. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you have anything to add or any questions about it, let me know down below. I appreciate it. Smash up the like if you guys can. Share out with your friends. We'll see you on the next video, guys. Peace out. Check out my music. I have two artists, outlaw country artist named Travis Rains, and we have a pop singer named Lullaby. Go check them out on Spotify, please. Thank you so much for the support. And also check out my Etsy shops. We have Wall Bloom Studios, where you can get digital downloads of cottagecore art and also get canvases printed and shipped to you. Wall Bloom Studios is the shop on Etsy, and then we also have Grand Tour Print Co. is my travel poster shop, so you can get a travel poster, basically doing like all the landmarks for like around the whole world. So check it out, Grand Tour Print Co. Appreciate you guys. Smash up the like. We'll see you on the next video. Peace out.
You people, check out my music on Spotify. If you like it, then follow me.